One day, Dennis was walking along when he saw something sticking out of a trash can. An old moose head. It was heavy, all right, but Dennis managed to get it right up to his front porch, and, well, here he comes now.
Don't slam it.
There's the fastest slam in the West.
Guess what I got, Mom? Well, you've got a dirty face for one thing. What else? A surprise for you. Close your eyes. You two, Dad. I'll be right back.
I wonder what it can be.
Close your eyes and don't open them till I tell you. All right.
Okay.
It's right in front of you, Mom. Can I smell it? Do you want to? Of course I do. Okay, bend over. Now smell. This doesn't smell like a flower. Of course not. Open your eyes. Don't be scared, Mom. It's not alive.
Where did you get that?
In somebody's trash box. I figured we could put it up in the dining room. Oh, Dennis. I bet you never thought you'd have one of these, did you? No. Would you rather put it up in your bedroom?
What say, Mom?
Dennis, you shouldn't bring things like this home. It was a tough job, but I wanted to. You know why? Because you're the best mom in the whole world. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Where are we going to put it, Mom? Well... Hey, Dennis! The Wilsons just drove up out front. Uh-oh.
What's he, your lookout?
I think I'll go straighten out my room.
Just a minute, young man.
It's for Mom, Dad. She's been trying to get me to do it all day.
Dennis, you have to tell Mr. Wilson sooner or later, and you might as well do it right now.
Can we call him on the phone?
Come on, Dennis.
You're trying to carry too much, George. You will strain yourself.
Oh, nonsense, Martha. These 2 weeks have rejuvenated me. Why, I feel like a new man.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. Welcome home.
Oh, Mitchell, Dennis, come on over. I'll tell you all about our trip.
Okay. Come on, Dennis.
Now, George, you be nice to little Dennis.
Why, of course I will. I told you, Martha, I'm a new man. Well, here we are, home at last.
You know how easily Mr. Wilson gets upset. I don't want you to say or do anything that'll bother him.
Then I don't have to tell him what I did?
Yes, you do. Only don't upset him with anything new.
Hello, Henry. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Mrs. Wilson. How are you?
I'm fine, too. Hey, Mr. Wilson, you're wearing a Smokey the Bear hat, aren't you?
Dennis.
Smokey the Bear. Oh, Dennis, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, too, Mr. Wilson. I've missed you.
Dennis has something to tell you, Mr. Wilson.
Oh?
Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, the day after you left on your trip, there was this swell little kid that was playing baseball.
A swell little kid named Dennis.
Uh-huh.
I hit a home run
Wonderful.
right through your kitchen window.
Oh? Oh, well, boys will be boys. After all, what's a broken window?
Well, that isn't all, Mr. Wilson. Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, the ball sort of bounced across the kitchen and turned on the water faucet.
Well, so we lost a little water down the drain. Boys will
You
be...
didn't lose it down the drain, Mr. Wilson.
The baseball ended up in the sink, acting as a drain plug.
So you lost all your water on the floor. Oh, my goodness. I looked into the window and saw what was happening, so I called Mom and Dad.
How could you look in the window?
I climbed up on the trellis. Dad's already fixed it.
Oh? Oh, then what happened?
Well, Alice and I came over and cleaned up the mess. It didn't hurt anything.
Oh, thank you, Henry.
Of course, I had to jimmy the back door open to get in.
Oh, you did?
Boy, was that door a mess.
Of course, I fixed it later, and the window, too.
What? Well, then everything's all right. I guess boys will be boys.
Well, that's not quite all, Mr. Wilson.
Oh?
Yesterday, Dennis played baseball again.
A home run?
I'm a regular Willie Mays.
The same window.
Oh, my land.
But it didn't hit the water faucet.
I'll pay for the window, of course.
What are you laughing about, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, that's a very funny story.
I'm happy you can see it that way, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, Mitchell, you know, I've been an old grouch in the past, but that's all over. From now on, Dennis and I are going to be good friends.
Really, Mr. Wilson? Do you want to take me to the circus? It's going to be right over in the park.
Dennis.
Well, by golly, I just might do that.
Wow, that would be swell.
Mr. Wilson, I hope you don't mind my commenting, but you're a changed man.
I really think he is, Henry.
Well, I know I am. I mean, how could I be otherwise? I've been communing with nature. I've slept beside a babbling brook under the stars. I've listened to nature's creatures calling to me in the night.
Did Mrs. Wilson want a drink of water?
Mrs. Wilson? No, Dennis, I was referring to the animals and the birds. One night, I heard an owl hooting.
Boy, you sure sound like one. Do it again.
All righty. And at that moment, all the primitive instincts of my ancestors came back to me.
Oh, what did you do?
Well, I slipped quietly out of my sleeping bag, picked up my flashlight, and went looking for him.
Boy, you're just like Daniel Boone, Mr. Wilson. Did you find him?
Well, no. Martha, now that wasn't funny.
Oh, yes, it was. He was walking along, shining his light up into the trees, and he walked right into the brook.
That's because you didn't want to leave a trail, huh, Mr. Wilson?
Leave it. Dennis, you're a good friend. You know you ought to go camping sometime.
Boy, that would be swell.
Can I help you bring in the rest of your gear?
Well, sure. Come on.
Dad, can I sleep out in the backyard tonight?
Dennis, I don't have a tent.
Oh, don't be a killjoy, Mitchell. He could borrow our camping equipment.
Swell!
Well, that's very generous of you.
Say, can I get Tommy to sleep out with me?
Well, you can go ask his mother.
I'll envy you, Dennis, being out there under the stars. You know, Mitchell, that's the only trouble, being home. I'll miss the sound of the wild creatures calling in the night.
Can I wear your Smokey the Bear hat, Mr. Wilson?
Why, of course you can, Dennis.
Now I'm going to go see if Tommy can come.
He's a wonderful kid. Oh, you see this, Mitchell? My nerve medicine. I didn't use a drop of it during our trip.
And you've been home 5 minutes and you need some.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I never expect to need it again.
Mr. Wilson's letting Dennis use the whole business. Sleeping bags, air mattresses, the tent.
I can't get over it. 2 weeks of camping have changed that man completely.
Hello? Oh, hi, Ted.
Henry, I was wondering if you and Alice would like to come over tonight. We'll, play a little bridge.
You sure you want to play bridge, or you got another one of those crazy sound effect records you want to show off?
Well, we might play a little bridge. Henry, wait till you hear this one. It's the greatest. It's a train wreck from the actual soundtrack of a motion picture. Boy, you've never heard anything so realistic. Well, how about it? Can you come over?
I don't think we better tonight, Ted. Dennis is sleeping out in the backyard, and we've got to keep an eye on him.
Well, look, you could watch him just as easily from over here as you can from there. Look right over the fence.
Well, I suppose we could keep an eye on him just as easily over there. Any objections, honey?
No, I guess not.
Okay. Fine, Ted. About 8 o'clock? And Ted, I do want to play some bridge tonight. Okay. Bye.
So do I. Last Saturday evening, we did nothing but listen to that crazy wild animal record of his.
Oh, don't blame him, honey. He's only had that hi-fi a couple of weeks.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, how come you haven't put up the reindeer?
Oh, that isn't a reindeer, Dennis. It's a moose. And I have a wonderful idea of where to put it.
Where?
Why don't we put it out in the backyard, and then you can pretend you're right out in the wilderness tonight.
Wow!
And the tent can be your teepee.
You mean like reindeer?
Like real Indian brave.
You know what she is, Dad. She's the best We're on the whole world.
She is on my totem pole, too.
Well, here I am. What do you got blankets for? We got sleeping bags. I know it, but my mom's afraid I'll catch cold. I even got to wear my underwear under my pajamas. Boy, I'm glad my mom isn't like that.
Oh, no? Better take a look, Dennis. Here comes your mother with an armload of blankets.
What are those for?
For you. I don't want you to catch cold.
Oh, Mom.
Hon, do you know where the hot water bottle is?
Holy baloney. Hey, Mr. Wilson. You did. Shave and a haircut. 6 bits.
I most certainly did, Dennis.
Do it again, Mr. Wilson.
All right.
Dennis, that'll be enough knocking. Oh, Mr. Wilson, how are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mitchell. Sheer animal spirits.
That's quite all right. Come on in.
Oh, no thanks. I just dropped by to tell Dennis the good news.
Is it good news, Mr. Wilson?
Dennis, what would be the best possible news you could hear in the whole world?
Then I'm getting a 2-wheeler. Are you getting me one?
Oh, Dennis.
Well, no, it's not that. Maybe this wish is second best. You see these 2 circus tickets? Well, we're going to the circus.
Oh, boy!
Thank you, boys. We'll be pretty comfortable out here.
Sure we will.
Now, if you fellas want anything, you just sing out. We'll be right behind the fence at the Melton.
We won't want anything, will we, Tommy? Nah.
Well, good night, boys.
Good night, Mom.
Night.
Good night.
Good night, men.
Night.
You're going to have a wonderful time.
You know, Martha, those old sleepless nights are gone forever. Not even 9 o'clock. And I'm going to sleep like a schoolboy.
Now what are you going to do?
I think I'll give Dennis and Tommy a thrill and do my owl imitation. Ooh! Ooh! Ooh!
Oh, come to bed, George.
Wait a minute, Martha. You know, I bet they think that's a real owl. Ooh! Ooh!
You know what that was, Tommy? That was Mr. Wilson doing his owl imitation. He's pretty good at it. Yeah, that's because he heard owls and things all the time he was out camping. Animals, too? Sure, all kinds of them. I bet he was scared. Mr. Wilson? Heck no. He said they calmed his nerves. Now that he's back, he's gonna miss them. What was that? Hey! It's Mr. Melton's hi-fi. He was gonna play a train record for Mom and Dad.
George,
Yeah?
do you hear that train?
Yes, it's unusually loud tonight. Or else they're using that old spur track over in the park.
They must be. It sounds as if it was right next door.
Must be some rare atmospheric condition. Martha, I know why they're using the spur. That must be the circus train arriving in the park. Sounded like a head-on collision.
That was a lion.
Great Scott, that was the circus train, and the lions are loose. And the elephants are loose, too.
Dennis and Tommy are out in the yard.
I've got to get out there.
You can't go out there.
I've got to, Martha. Those boys are in danger. I'll do what I can with my lodge sword. You call the police.
He forgot his glasses.
Sure is swell being out here in the wilderness. Yeah.
Dennis!
What are you doing, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, I'm going to save you from the lions. Boys, get back in your tent.
Mr. Wilson must be playing he's out in the wilderness, too. Hey, Mr. Wilson, here comes a big tiger.
Mr. Wilson couldn't see very well without his glasses. He backed up a little bit, his sword in his hand, when all of a sudden, he felt something against his shoulder. When he put his hand up, he felt the snout of some fierce animal.
I hope Martha phoned for help.
Of course, it was the moose head that Henry Mitchell had hung out in the yard for the boys. But Mr. Wilson didn't know that. He turned and began slashing and cutting with his sword until finally the head fell right on the ground in front of him.
George, can I go for your glasses?
Steady,
Are you
Martha.
all right?
Yes, so far. I haven't met any of the lions yet, but I've just cut the head off a moose. Oh! You boys all right?
We're pretty scared.
Will you stay where you are? Now, there might be a lion behind any bush, Martha, so you stay right close to me.
Here are your glasses, George.
You come out to play too, Mr. Wilson?
Dennis, go back inside. Don't you understand the danger? Didn't you hear the animal roars?
Sure, I heard him. That's because Mr. Mountain had the speaker in his patio turned on.
What?
Sure. They were on a record he was playing on his new hi-fi.
Oh, nonsense. What about that moose I decapitated? He wasn't playing that on his hi-fi.
George,
Huh?
will you please put on your glasses?
Well, I'm...
Mr. Wilson did put on his glasses, and when he looked around, he saw that the moose head was mounted on a board.
Oh, no. Martha, not a word of this to anybody.
But it was too late for silence because Mrs. Wilson had already called the police. When the police finally left, everybody was gathered in Dennis's house trying to cheer up poor Mr. Wilson.
Oh, I feel so humiliated.
Now, George, you were only doing what you thought was right. It was a very brave thing to do, Mr. Wilson.
Oh,
Sure it was. You thought there were lions out there.
have the police left?
Yes, dear.
The reporters?
Yes, dear.
And that police psychiatrist?
Yes, dear.
You know what I heard him say, Mr. Wilson? He said you're as nutty as a fruitcake.
Dennis, when did he say that?
Right after I told him you do swell owl imitations out of your bedroom window.
And to think I dumped out all my nerve medicine. Oh, Martha, take me home. Put me to bed.
Of course.
Hey, Mr. Wilson, what time are we going to the circus tomorrow?
Oh, that's all. Just take me home. Take me home.
Dennis and his friend Tommy were sitting on Dennis's front porch one day, just sort of talking. And that was the way the whole thing started.
My dad can open pickle jars that nobody else in the whole world can open. My dad made one of our good spoons go down the garbage disposer. Yeah? Well, my dad can wear holes in his socks faster than anybody that my mom ever saw. My dad can crack his knuckles. My dad drives a four-door sedan. My dad's car has 4 headlights. My dad can shave standing on 1 foot. My dad has a $5 gold piece. My dad is rich. Oh, come on. He has so much money that he gives it away. I heard him tell Mom he was sending checks to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in town.
Seriously, though, honey, the bills this month are just fierce. Doctor, dentist, lights, water. There's even a 2-month bill here from the Quigley grocery store.
Well, how did that happen?
Oh, last month's bill got jammed in the back of the drawer. I overlooked it.
I'm afraid there's something else you don't even know about yet.
What's that?
I've lost my engagement ring. Honey, I'm just sick about it.
Here in the house?
Well, I remember putting it up on the sink last night when I started to do the dinner dishes, and it must have gone down the drain.
Well, I'm not paying a plumber to come and get it out. I'll borrow a wrench from Mr. Wilson and check the drain myself.
I'm home. Hey, Dad, the mailman left a letter for you.
If it's another bill, I'll shoot myself.
Shoot yourself.
He's only fooling Tommy. Dennis, have you seen my engagement ring? I've lost it somewhere.
No, Mom, I haven't seen it.
Now, this is what I've been looking for. Harassed by creditors, haunted by overdue bills, borrow in confidence from the sincere loan company. I'm going to put this right up here where I can find it easily.
Speaking of finding, I think I'll go upstairs and look for my ring.
Oh, honey, while you're up there, you might as well change your clothes. We'll be heading for downtown pretty quick.
Do you need money, Dad?
I sure do.
But I thought we were rich. I always felt rich.
Well, in the way you mean it, son, we are.
See?
But not where money is concerned. There, we're a long, long way from being rich.
I knew it.
That's why I have to work my fingers to the bone. If I didn't, we'd lose the house.
You mean like Mom lost her ring?
No. You see, Dennis, the bank owns the house. And if I don't keep up the payments, well, they'll take it away from us.
Jeepers.
The same thing is true with the car.
How about the TV set?
Well, the store could take that. We make payments to them, even though it only works about half the time.
Boy, I'd hate to lose that TV set.
You can help me keep up the payments, Dennis.
I can?
Certainly. You're a very important member of this family, and, well, you can help me by not wasting food, turning out lights when you leave the room, things like that.
I'm going to help you all I can, Dad. And from now on, if Mom puts it on my plate, I'm even going to eat liver. You know what we're going to do while Mom and Dad are downtown, Tommy? We're going to make some money for good old Dad by selling bottles. You're going to give the money to your dad? I'd keep it. That's because you're just a little kid. I'm a very important member of this family, and Dad needs my help. We're so poor we're right down to our bones. I'm going to start up a root beer stand. I'm going to make so much money that I'll probably take Dad downtown and buy him a new car. How much you going to charge for the root beer? A penny for all you can drink. You won't make much money that way. Tommy, you just don't understand business. Root beer! Delicious root beer for sale! Root beer! Hey, here comes dumb old Margaret. Hello, Dennis. Do you want to play house with me and the children? Don't bother me while I'm at the office, Margaret. You got any money in that purse? Sure, you want it? No, I'd just like to sell you some root beer. How much is it? A penny for all you can drink. Okay.
That seemed like a pretty good deal to Margaret, so she gave Dennis her penny, and he poured a little bit of root beer into a glass for her. In fact, it was so little that Margaret swallowed it in one gulp.
More. That's all you can drink for a penny. Who said so? I said so, that's who. You want to buy some more root beer? No. Yeah.
Margaret was so mad, she walked off in a huff. But another customer was coming up now.
Hello, Dennis. Hello, Tommy.
Hi, Mrs. Elkins. You want to buy some root beer? He usually need money to help his dad.
Oh, I'm sure Mr. Mitchell doesn't need Dennis's help.
Sure he does. He told me so. Dennis is helping pay off the TV set so the store won't take it back.
Oh, Tommy. How much is your root beer?
A penny for all you can drink.
Well, you won't make very much money that way.
Yes, he will. You don't know Dennis.
Well, how much do you think I can drink?
About that much. That's all I'll give.
Well, all right. I think that's about a nickel's worth.
Thank you, Mrs. Buffett. You know, Tommy, I don't see why Dad's having such a tough time. It's easy to make money.
While Dennis was busy selling root beer, his father and mother stopped at the garage to pick up the family car.
Gee, I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell, but there's not a chance of finishing your car before 5. 5?
Henry, and we have a dozen errands to run.
Well, I'll tell you, my son brought his car in for a lube job. You could use that this afternoon.
Say, we sure appreciate it.
Well, there she is.
There it was, all right. One of the oldest, most dilapidated cars in the whole town. The top was gone, the fenders were missing, and, well, it was just a wreck. When Mrs. Mitchell saw it, she almost turned purple.
Oh, I'm afraid we couldn't
What
possibly...
time did you say your hair appointment was, honey?
That's what I was saying. I'm afraid we couldn't possibly make my hair appointment unless we used your car.
Well, welcome to it. The keys are in the dash.
Thanks a lot. Be it ever so humble, there's no place like transportation.
Just in case we see anybody we know, slink way down in the seat so they won't see us.
Doggone it, I tore my jacket.
Oh, well, that coat was ready for the Salvation Army anyhow.
Say, Mr. Mitchell, you may not have noticed that sharp place on the door when you got in. Watch it or you could tear your clothes.
Thanks a lot. I'll watch it. There we are. There are your peaches, Mrs. Burns.
All right.
Hi, Mr. Quigley. Mrs. Burns.
Oh, hello, Dennis. Tommy?
Keep away from the bananas, Dennis.
You always say that to me, don't you, Mr. Quigley?
I sure do.
Is that on account of the time I unzipped him for you?
That's right. I was out back in the storeroom. Couldn't have been gone more than 2 minutes. When I came back, he'd taken the skins off about 60 bananas.
I thought they'd sell faster.
They did. Your father bought them. Now, Dennis, don't bother me while I'm waiting on Mrs. Burns.
Okay.
Anything else, Mrs. Burns?
Oh, no. Oh, yes, a dozen eggs. And you can just put all these things on my account, Mr. Quigley.
Dozen eggs.
Dennis, if you'll carry this bag to my car for me, I'll give you a nickel.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do that, Mrs. Burns.
Why not?
With Dennis, something always goes wrong.
Oh, nonsense. Dennis, you want to earn that nickel?
Sure I do. My dad needs the money so they won't take our TV set away from us. They could even lose their house and car.
What?
Oh, come on, Dennis. I'm in a hurry.
Yes, Mrs. Burns.
I told you.
Whoops! It's your own fault. You shouldn't have put the eggs on top.
I think some of them got broke a little. There's some yellow coming out.
I'll give you a new box and carry your bag out myself.
Goodbye, boys.
Bye, Mrs. Burns.
Don't touch anything.
I guess he didn't mean these eggs, Tommy. Let's pick them up for him. Hand them to me, Tommy. You might drop them. Careful. Careful now.
Well, boys, we meet again. What are you doing with those eggs?
We picked them up from Mr. Quigley. They got dropped because he put them on top. Mr. Quigley's carrying Mrs. Burns' package out for her. I wanted the job, but he got it. She's paying a nickel.
Well, things must be a little slow for Mr. Quigley.
I guess he's broke like my dad.
Oh, Dennis. How's your mother?
Not so good. She lost her engagement ring.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Elkins. Dennis, what are you doing with those eggs?
I'm holding them for you.
You will hold still. You might drop them.
Mr. Quigley, don't get so excited.
I always get excited when he comes in. When I was a young man, I drove a nitroglycerin truck in the Texas oil fields, and I was cool as a cucumber. But 5 minutes of Dennis, and I'm a total wreck. Now, what was it you wanted, Dennis?
I got 6 pop bottles in my wagon. And I want to turn them in to get 12 cents to give to my dad because he needs the money.
Yeah, all right. I'll give you your 12 cents and get you out of here. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Hey, Mr. Quigley, you busted a couple of eggs.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see that, Tommy? Mr. Quigley was putting those bottles on the counter and he busted a couple of eggs. I guess you didn't see them. Didn't you see those eggs, Mr. Quigley? You put them there.
For 2 cents, I'd sell this store and buy a nitroglycerin truck. Now, here's your money. Now, run on home.
For 2 cents?
For 2 cents. Well, what are you waiting for?
I'm trying to make up my mind about buying your store.
See what I mean? He drives me out of my mind.
You boys better run along home now.
Okay. Bye, Mr. Quigley.
Goodbye.
Bye, Mrs. Elkins. I'll be back later if I can find some more bottles to sell you. My dad needs all the money I can get. Bye.
I want a bottle of cider vinegar, Quigley.
Oh, I'll get it, Mrs. Elkins.
I wonder what all that talk was about his father needing money.
I don't know. Dennis said something about repossessing the TV set.
That's hard to believe.
And the other boy mentioned the bank foreclosing on the house and the car.
The Mitchells?
Say, come to think of it, they haven't paid their last month's bill. If they don't pay it pretty soon, I'll have to cut off their credit.
Well, you just never know, do you? Charge it.
All right, Miss Elkins. Bye.
Bye.
As Mrs. Elkins left the grocery store, who should drive by but the Mitchells in the old jalopy?
Hello? Oh, yes, Miss Elkins.
I wondered if you'd heard about the trouble the Mitchells are in. Well, let me tell you. They're driving an old wreck because the bank has repossessed their car. And Mr. Quigley is about to cut off their credit. And little Dennis is out selling bottles so they won't lose their TV set. Why, you've never seen such a brave little boy in your life.
Why, I just can't believe it.
Oh, well, that's all. Mrs. Mitchell has lost her engagement ring. She's probably pawned it.
Well, I'm just going to have to go over there and see for myself. I've always thought of them as one of the pillars of the community.
Meanwhile, the TV repairman had arrived at the Mitchell house and was looking over their set.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I don't know, Mr. Mitchell. I think I'd better take it back to the store. It's too big a job to do here.
Okay, if you have to. Honey, I'm going next door and borrow that pipe wrench from Mr. Wilson.
All right, dear. When will we get it back?
Not for a couple of days, anyway. Well, don't get up, Miss Mitchell. I can make it all right.
Well, bring it back as fast as you can. Our little boy will miss it.
The repairman no sooner got the set outside when who should meet him on the porch but Mrs. Holland.
You're taking their TV set back to the store?
Yes, ma'am. Had to do it.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, little boy's going to miss it.
Oh, Mrs. Holland. I just happened to be in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd drop by and say hello. I'm so glad you did. Won't you come in? Henry will be right back. He just went next door to the Wilsons to borrow something. Oh, I hope I haven't come at a bad time. Oh, not at all. I was just mending Henry's old coat here. We're going to give it to the Salvation Army. Of course. Could I get you something cold to drink? Well, thank you. Yes. You come right in and sit down. I won't be a moment. We're going to have to speak to Dennis. There isn't a cold drink in this house.
I just bought 6 bottles yesterday. Yes, sir. That boy's going to have a little talking to.
Well, come on in and say hello to Mrs. Holland. She just dropped by for a minute.
It's so nice of you to drop by, Mrs. Holland.
Well, I'm glad I caught you home.
You'll have to pardon the way I look. I was just about to do a little plumbing job.
Of course.
I could get a plumber, you know, but a penny saved is a penny earned.
Believe me, I understand. Why don't we all sit down?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I can't give you that cold drink I offered you, but our cupboard seems to be bare. Oh, my dear, don't give it another thought. Mr. Mitchell, may I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Well, let us say that a young couple with a little boy are in financial difficulty. Now, do you think that they should forget their pride and accept charity from their friends and neighbors?
Well, it would seem to me that would depend on the actual circumstances of this hypothetical couple.
At this exact minute, who should come in but Dennis and his friend Tommy Anderson?
In here, Dennis. This is not a hypothetical couple, Mr. Mitchell. Their little boy just entered this room. Are you sure of your facts, Mrs. Holland? We know, Mrs. Mitchell. In spite of their putting up a very brave front, we know.
Of course, Mrs. Holland was talking about the Mitchells, but the Mitchells thought she was talking about Tommy Anderson's family.
Well, in that case, I'm sure every member of the family would be grateful for any help that's given. You mean you wouldn't mind if we brought a few things here during the next few days?
We'd be happy to volunteer our house as a collection center.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mitchell. That was very delicately put. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go mobilize the neighborhood.
Hey, Mom, can I have something to eat? I'm starving.
Oh, that boy, he's always hungry. Oh, I'll hurry just as fast as I can. I think this is a wonderful thing you're doing. In this town, we always take care of our own, Mrs. Mitchell. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mrs. Holland. Goodbye.
Hey, what's going on here?
Not now, dear. Tommy, I just remembered your mother called and she wants you to come right home.
Okay, Mrs. Mitchell. Bye, Dennis. Bye, Tommy.
Bye.
Poor little tyke.
I'm amazed. I was talking with Mrs. Anderson only yesterday, and she seemed so cheerful.
Honey, Mrs. Holland isn't one to jump to conclusions.
Hey, Dad, guess what I got for you? 36 cents. I've been selling root beer in empty bottles.
So that's what happened to the root beer. Well, Father, do your duty.
I did it for you because I knew you needed the money.
That's what Mrs. Holland and Mrs. Elkins thought, too, that Dennis was selling root beer because his family needed the money. And a little while later, Mrs. Holland called Mrs. Elkins on the telephone.
Well, you couldn't have been more right. They're being very brave, but they're almost penniless.
Well, I'm going to call everybody I know. We'll put the Mitchells back on their feet.
Well, I'm going to phone, too. We'll get clothing, canned goods, everything.
Mrs. Holland and Mrs. Elkins called everybody they knew, and it wasn't too long before the living room of the Mitchell house was filled with donations of food, clothing, and just about anything else you could imagine.
It's awfully nice of you to give up your Sunday afternoon to bring these things over.
I'm glad to do it, Mrs. Mitchell.
My, the neighborhood certainly has been generous.
Yes, they certainly have. Is Mr. Mitchell home?
No, he's over at the club playing golf.
That seems a little peculiar.
He always plays golf on Sunday. Dennis usually tags along.
Well, I'm glad circumstances haven't forced him to change his routine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Oh, I wonder what's the matter with him. In here.
Hi.
Oh, honey, good news. I found my ring in the phone hamper. What happened to your eye?
It's black and blue. It's the best one I ever saw.
Let me see. Henry, how did it happen?
Tommy's dad did it in the clubhouse.
Mr. Anderson was out playing golf while his family's going hungry?
I was just about to walk up and tell him off when he walked up to me.
What did he say?
He said, Mitchell, don't you think a man ought to provide for his family before he plays golf? I said, I certainly do, Anderson.
Boy, Dad and Tommy's dad were looking at each other so fierce they were practically touching noses.
And then he said to me, Mitchell, don't you think that a man who plays golf under these circumstances is taking advantage of his friends and neighbors? And I said, frankly, Anderson, I think a man like that's a parasite. Then he said to me, well, what do you think ought to happen to a man like that?
And I said, I think someone ought to punch him in the eye.
And you were right, son.
Gee, was I? I didn't even know what we were talking about.
I was just about to haul off and sock him when he hit me in the eye.
No.
I was going to hit him back, but the fellas held us apart.
Boy, everybody was so mad at Mr. Anderson that they started slapping him on the back and making him smoke cigars.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Holland.
I heard about your eye, and I must say you deserved it.
What?
Out at the club playing golf.
What's the matter with that?
You were playing golf while your neighbors were feeding and clothing your family. If you want to know what I think you're pretty contemptible.
But Mrs. Holland. Honey, she seems to think we're the needy family.
Well, where would she get an idea like that?
From me! I told her what you said about you being poor. I've been telling everybody.
Oh, no.